I'm Jeff Philbin, and this is the show with ideas for dinner, or as we call them, Dinner Diaz. Today, a plant-based plate of perfection as we make meatloaf without the meat with the delicious dairy-free herb mashed potatoes, and we'll show you how to do it all. Joining me today in the Dinner Diaz kitchen to bring us her meat-free masterpiece is Anissa Mija. She's the owner of Nana's Restaurant and Juice Bar in Ybor City. They're family-owned and operated and 100% plant-based.
That's right.
What does that mean? What is plant-based?
So plant-based is focused on eating foods that are basically whole vegetables, fruits, nuts, seeds, legumes, beans, whole plants, things you can get from Mother Earth.
All right.
Onto your plate.
I love it. It's the real stuff. It's what Mother Earth is giving to us that we need to start taking advantage of then. Because I'll tell you, I eat a lot of meat. I am a carnivore, but I know my body can't take it all the time. And I know that there's others too that need options.
Yes.
There's a stigma sometimes when you are dealing with foods that are outside of the comfort zone and what you know. Will it taste like cardboard?
Definitely not.
All right, so we're working with really great ingredients that is going to take it away, but we can still have a great substitute, is what you're saying?
Of course.
Perfect. So what are we doing then first?
So first we're chopping up our vegetables that we're gonna be using for our lentil meatloaf. So I have some garlic, carrots, peppers, onions. Of course, feel free to add whatever you like. You can add any herbs. You can add, if you want a red pepper, a yellow pepper, if you want shallots, whatever you want.
The freedom is yours to have whatever you want, as long as it is plant-based.
Right.
Then that constitutes this as a plant-based option.
Right.
What would be the difference then between plant-based and vegan?
So vegan is if I was to eat an Oreo, because Oreo is technically vegan. Plant-based if I was to go and make my own Oreo with flour, cacao powder, you know, whatever. However, an Oreo can be made plant-based.
Guilty as charged, because I'll tell you, Holden and Beth and myself, we eat too many Oreos in the house too. So maybe we'll try something a little different next time too then, because this is about being healthier. And how important is it to introduce this to those that are those meat eaters, those that need to try something different? And what kind of health benefits can we see when we just take a little bit out of our routine and add in something like this?
Well, first, I think your mood, you know, because as much as we think our brain is in our head, we also have our gut, which is our second brain, which should be the first. But it's important to take care of what goes in our stomach. And I feel like also just I don't want to say it's going to cure you, it's going to heal you, but it will assist in the healing. So it's important to include more plant-based foods. It helps your bowel movement. So if you have trouble using the restroom.
So it's not ultra-processed. It's a natural way for your body to take on what Mother Nature is giving to us. And she's given us some beautiful carrots, onions. She's given us the garlic. And I see the pepper here. Do you have a technique to cutting a pepper?
There's a technique you can use that you can actually use all whole pepper except for this little stem and the inside.
Oh, you got to show us how to do this then, because I got to see this now.
So what you do is you cut the top, and that already got rid of the stem there.
Okay.
And then you cut the bottom, and then you just go down and around to cut out the inside, the seeds.
So you're playing with the shape of the pepper and letting the knife just glide around it then.
Yep.
And then no seeds.
No seeds.
I love
and now
it.
you have all parts, well, most parts of the pepper, leaving the little butt. Oop.
I dig it.
And then, of course, you can, so there's many ways to cut the pepper. How we're doing it today, we're just going to dice them up. So we're going to get them a little bit smaller.
And you're chopping this quite fine, it looks like, too.
Yes.
Okay.
So the goal is to get these pieces nice and tiny for our pan here.
Okay.
Right, that we're going to be putting all these vegetables in to saute them up for our meatloaf.
Okay.
That's going to be baked.
Love it.
And this also, the smell of it, cutting fresh vegetables when you walk into a kitchen, it smells so good.
It's inviting at that point, right?
Yes, it reminds me of my grandma's house. So.
And now, did the love of food come from your grandma?
Yes, both of them. My grandma's. My dad liked to cook, but it was not my grandma's cooking, okay?
Okay. Now, where are they originally from?
So my family is Dominican.
Mm-hmm.
So they're from the Caribbean, the West Indies. So a lot of what I do is inspired by Caribbean food. I'm Dominican, so
Mm-hmm.
I'm heavily influenced by that. And my history, you know, I don't know if you know, but Dominicans are Taino and have many native relations that also correlate back to Africa, which a lot of these fruits and vegetables, well, not that I'm using today, but a lot of vegetables have made their way here.
Absolutely.
So, and now we get to use them.
And now we get to use, and you get to preserve that heritage in that story. How important is it for you because of being able to tell that story through food?
I think it's very important. I feel like right now we're in a stage where everything is like a melting pot.
Yeah.
So a lot of people are kind of losing their culture, and you know, or it's not as easily accessible or known about as it was back in the day. Because one, our time that we have now compared to what we had before is very different. You know, and now we have social media, so we're distracted, and you know, we're not taking the time to learn from our elders.
And food allows us that opportunity to get into cultures, to get a connection with our heritage, with where our future is going to, and where options can be had. So we just put into our pan there everything that we just had with the onions, our carrots, our green peppers, and our garlic. What's next then while we kind of monitor what's happening here in our skillet?
So this is just gonna go on just to kind of cook down a little bit. We're also gonna be processing some walnuts.
Okay.
So here we soak them so they can, so they can get soft. And then we're gonna run them through this food processor. We're gonna drain them and run them. So I'm just gonna get this nice and mixed up, and it'll sit on its own so we can go ahead and do that.
Perfect. And what are you looking for in terms of color or texture there?
So normally if I'm using a red onion, I wait till the red kind of is less.
Okay.
Here I'm just waiting for things to look a little bit more softer, a little bit more cooked.
Okay, so we're just trying to soften them, make them a little bit more translucent.
Exactly.
Then. Okay, so what's next then?
So now we're going to drain these walnuts that have been soaking in hot water for about 10 minutes.
Okay.
If you do want to do them the traditional way and you have time, you can soak them overnight.
Okay.
As long as it's about like 6 hours to get them nice and soft. So I'm going to dump the liquid out here.
I love it. To get Chef Anice's full recipe for her lentil meat-free loaf, go to our website, dinnerdeas.com, and save yourself the typing by getting your phone out and scanning the QR code in the corner of your screen. Now, these are all drained, and this is going to go straight into our food processor?
Straight into the processor.
Okay.
So they should be soft, right? And you'll be surprised what you can do with walnuts. You can do so much with them.
See, I'm only thinking about brownies. I'm thinking about all the sweets, but this is something that's going into a savory dish now.
Exactly. So we just want to get them to where... Oh, there we go.
All right.
All right.
What's the texture that you're looking for on this?
So the texture is small, grainy, almost like chopped peanuts.
Okay.
In a sense.
Okay.
Right? My food processor is a little bit different than this one, but...
That's all right. Would you like a spoon then? Can I help you here with a spoon?
Yeah, of course you can help me.
Teamwork makes the dream work happen
right.
here in the Dinner Diaz kitchen here. And let's just get this out here. And it looks like we already have some that was already done too.
Yep.
All right.
All right. Just put that here.
Very cool. And what else is going to go into it?
So we have some lentils that were boiled. Basically, you put them to boil. Once the water boils, turn it off, let it sit for about 10 minutes, strain and drain, and then you end up with this soft lentil texture, right? So I said about 1.5 cups of lentils.
Okay.
So this is about 1.5 cups of lentils. Just put everything. And then you're gonna use...
Is there any kind of fanciness behind these lentils? Are these just a traditional green lentil that's easily accessible? You can find this in the grocery store.
And another thing good about this recipe is very affordable. So a lot of people think vegan food is super expensive.
Sure, because you're using whole ingredients. You're using a lot of things that right now seem as though they can be expensive, but
they're not.
They're not.
No.
You can do this.
And you can make plenty. So this is probably like a small, not even a full bag of lentils.
Oh, I love it. All right.
We're gonna add some walnuts in here. I said about a cup of walnuts. And then this is where the fun happens. So that, you can turn that off.
I will do.
Yep.
Gotcha.
And then you can put that in here.
Okay. And we're gonna just go straight in?
Yep, just go straight in.
Okay.
Boop. All right, perfect.
All right.
And then we're going to add, this is a nutritional yeast.
Now, what is nutritional yeast?
So nutritional yeast is basically like a seasoning. I know it has B12 in it, but it gives things like a different flavor. It makes things like cheesy flavor. Like if you're making any vegan cheese, this is your go-to that you would want.
Okay.
Nutritional yeast. So we're gonna put some nutritional yeast in it. Flax seeds. So this is gonna be our binder. So flax seeds with the moisture that we have in here is gonna keep everything together. It's like an egg substitute.
Okay.
Without the egg.
Perfect.
Right. And this is also really good for digestion, hair, so much things. We have some paprika here.
Okay.
So we're just gonna put some paprika. We're going to put some parsley.
Nice.
And with this recipe, you can always add as you go. So if you feel like you want it to be an Italian flavored, you can add fennel seeds, you can add shallots, you can add rosemary, you can add sage to it.
Now, you could also play with it being either fresh or dried too?
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
And are we working with dried then?
We're working with dried.
Okay.
To make it easier. And then we have gluten-free breadcrumbs. So I like to use gluten-free breadcrumbs. You can use regular breadcrumbs. I just feel like this is more, this is better for people who have a gluten sensitivity. So
you're touching on everybody at this point.
Yeah.
This should be approachable. This should be accessible then.
It should be.
All right.
This is for everybody.
Now, what's that?
This is liquid aminos. So this is basically like a substitute, gluten-free substitute for soy sauce.
Okay.
It has basically the same taste, a little bit different, but I like to use it because it's gluten-free.
Okay.
So we're gonna add some of that in here. And then we're just gonna add literally a pinch of salt. And then the fun part is mixing all of this together.
I love it. And while you go ahead and mix all that together, we're gonna take a quick break. And this meat-free loaf is heading into the oven when we come back here on Dinner DeeAs.
That's right.
Welcome back to Dinner DeeAs. We're here every day to bring you fresh ideas for dinner, or as we like to call them, Dinner DeeAs. Here with her suggestion for what you might want to make tonight is Chef Anissa Mejias. She's the owner and the Nana of Nana's Restaurant and Juice Bar in Ybor City. Today we're making her lentil meatloaf, but without meat. And before the break, we combined cooked lentils with some sauteed vegetables, ground walnuts, flax seeds, breadcrumbs, spices. We put a lot in there. So what's next?
So what's next is you're going to make and form the lentil loaf.
I dig it. But you know the thing that is really interesting is that because this doesn't have any animal proteins, you can taste as you go along to see what's missing or where it's going to kind of go.
Right.
Can I take it?
Go ahead.
I got to try a little bite here before we go into anywhere deeper. It does have that meaty consistency too.
Well, remember, we're going to bake it. So it's a little bit soft right now.
I dig it. All right, so you're already putting me to work here.
I'm putting you to work. So
all right.
Just put some oil on the parchment.
Oh, okay.
Enough where it's a little bit.
And what kind of oil are we working with here?
I believe that's olive oil.
Okay.
But if you have vegetable oil, as long as you're not using like anything that can't handle. Well,
okay. So this is like my Bob Ross moment right here, is what
This
you're
is
saying
your
too?
Bob- exactly.
Okay. Just a little happy
Look at
bush
that.
right there?
Oh, I love
no? Okay. All right. So then we're just gonna take our loaf and make a loaf here.
Yep.
All right.
So you form it however you like.
Okay.
There you go.
All right. Now, how thick and what is like your, consistency that you like to be able to have?
Basically, exactly how you just did it right now.
Okay.
Yep. And then, so once you have it like that, we're gonna just mix some ketchup and some agave. But
That's
you
good?
can. That's perfect.
All right.
perfect. Yep.
Ketchup and agave.
Yep.
Okay.
But you can use anything you like. So you can use ketchup barbecue, ketchup sriracha, ketchup maple syrup, whatever you feel inclined to use.
Okay.
Yep. And then just give it a nice
little stir here.
nice little stir. It's gonna make a nice glaze. And then with that, you're just gonna coat it. You can probably use the same brush and coat the top of the meatloaf with it.
Pour? Do you use the brush again?
You can pour and brush it at the same time.
Pour and brush at the same time. So we are just going all in, trying to do everything here. All right. And I'm just gonna brush and baste it here. All right. And you like to get everything coated?
Everything, that's right.
All right.
Perfect. I think that's perfect.
Perfect. And for Chef Anissa's full recipe and all the ingredients to make this for dinner, you can find it on our website, dinnerdeas.com. Just scan the QR code in the corner of the screen and you head right there. So let me ask you, does this skill take me to the top of the line for being hired?
It could be.
Could be. All right.
So you know, we're big on energy, so a lot of good energy has to go into the food because it's going into our body. So I want to make sure whatever it is that I'm making is made with love, is made with healing intentions, specifically for those who are coming to eat at Nana's. And once they eat the food, they'll feel the love.
They'll feel
the
rejuvenated.
healing. Exactly.
I love the respect that you have for ingredients because
Yes.
that is a love and a beauty in itself. So let's go ahead and get to this in the oven because I gotta enjoy this because while our meat-free meatloaf is baking, we're gonna take a quick break. And when we come back, mashed potatoes, delicious but dairy-free. That's ahead on Dinner Diaz. Welcome back to Dinner Diaz. If you're stuck for what to make for dinner tonight, you're in the right place. How about a lentil meat-free loaf brought to us by the Nana of Nana's Restaurant and Juice Bar in Ybor City? Chef Anissa Mejia, why Nana? What is the name?
So that's my nickname. People think of Nana and they think of Grandma. I feel like it's soul food. Like when you try my food,
There's a
it's
heritage
like,
behind it, and there's a heritage in a reverence that we did with this beautiful meatloaf that we did before the break. We put it into the oven. We took it out. How long did it go in there for?
It goes in for about 25, 30 minutes, depending on the size, and then you let it sit for about
At what temperature?
425.
425, and now we're just gonna let this sit and rest?
Yes.
And how long for?
Like 20 minutes, just
Perfect.
to cool down.
So that gives us enough time for us to have some fun with these mashed potatoes, but they're a little different. So what are we doing next?
So this is super basic recipe. Just do some fluffy mashed potatoes. It's literally just cooked potatoes, russet potatoes, but you can honestly use whatever kind of potatoes you like.
Okay.
And then we're just gonna add in some plant butter.
Some plant butter. Now, where can you find plant butter?
So now this is actually easily accessible in many grocery stores, Walmart, Publix, honestly, probably.
And it looks like regular butter.
Looks like regular butter, it just doesn't have the milk at all. And this one I think is made from like olive oil.
And it still has a taste like butter?
Still has a taste like butter.
Nice. All right, well, you know what? I also want everyone at home to have some fun too. So let's take the Chef Jeff cam here and just see everything coming in together with all of these potatoes. So we started off with just some russet potatoes.
Russet potatoes,
Okay.
some dried parsley, and then that is garlic powder. As you can see, it's very fine.
Okay.
And then we're just gonna do a sprinkle of salt. And we're gonna take a moment and mix this up very quickly. That's it, they're done.
And still gonna give a light, fluffy consistency, it looks like.
Yes.
I love it. To get Chef Anissa's recipe for these dairy-free herbed mashed potatoes and her lentil meat-free loaf, just go to our website, dinnerdeas.com, or scan the QR code on your screen to get you there. And you know what? I'm gonna go straight in for a taste. I gotta go into it there. Wow. That tastes like the potatoes that I would cook.
They're good.
Wow. We're gonna take a quick break, and when we come back, it's time to taste test more of this incredible dish because the hard work is knowing if this dinner idea is worthy of the title, a dinner dia. welcome back to Dinner DeeAs, solving the question everyone's asking, what's for dinner tonight? How about a meat-free meal? Chef Anissa Mahia is the owner of Nana's Restaurant and Juice Bar in Ybor City, and she's made a lentil meatloaf with an herb mashed potato. It's time to dig in.
Yes.
All right, let's go right into this here. I am so intrigued with this.
I like to dance when I eat.
Now, candidly, I'm a meat and potato guy, right? But I can get down with this meat-free and potato dish because it has everything that I would be wanting out of what I know and is a comfort for me to go to. But by expanding the horizons just a little bit, and with ingredients that are approachable and affordable, this is a great alternative to what would have been a traditional meatloaf.
And it's really good.
This is really good. I'm loving this. How do you get inspired by all of your recipes?
I think about when I was a kid, like, what was my favorite things to eat? I love meatloaf. I love mashed potatoes. It's quick, it's easy, it's filling.
It's that comfort that brings us back to nostalgia almost, right?
Exactly.
I love it.
Very nostalgic.
I love it. Because that's how you turn a dinner idea into a dinner dia. Thanks again to Chef Anissa Mahia. Visit her family-owned and 100% plant-based restaurant, Nana's, that's in Ybor City. Her recipe is on the website, dinnerdeas.com, or just scan the QR code to head right there. I'm Jeff Philbin. Thanks for watching, and see you next time with more Dinner DeeAs.